Today's episode of the Note Closers, we're so excited to talk about some mindset and how to go out and find some cool deals.
This is the Note Closers Show, where you get the latest developments in distressed note investing and learn the secrets of how you can control millions of dollars worth of property for pennies on the dollar. Get educated and entertained by someone who has closed thousands of deals and lives to support you in achieving the same. Now, here's your host, CEO of We Close Notes, Scott Carson.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Note Closers Show. As always, Scott Carson here with you today, and I am just really jacked up. I've got a couple folks on today's episode that I think are going to have a huge impact for some of you out there that are listening right now. In the past, you've heard me talk about how back in 2008, 9, and 10, as they called the Great Recession, you had all these people that had used their equity and all their good money to buy toys and other things for their household. Well, when things hit the fan and people were upside down and losing homes, it really became as I like to say, a garage sale economy in a lot of cases, where people were starting to sell those toys, sell those collectibles to pay ends meet. And we are starting to see, I hope it doesn't turn into what it was back then again, but we are starting to see an increase in kind of that, as I say, garage sale economy with garage sales, estate sales, and things like that. And I'm really honored to have this amazing couple in here today. It's a couple I've been following on Instagram, love what they do, what they share, their journey, and how they really are flipping things in a different aspect of, instead of fixing flipping houses, they're flipping a lot of great things online here. And so we're honored to have Rob and Melissa Stephenson join us here from the cold tundra of Orlando, Florida today. How's it going, guys? Y'all doing all right?
Awesome, man. We're doing great. Thanks for having us.
Good stuff. Now, I got to ask, did you find something on your morning jog this morning or when you're out walking around? Because I saw you carrying that hot plate, that electric hot plate back a few weeks ago. It was right before your event, too.
Yeah, we did not.
The cooktop, not today.
Yeah, we didn't pull anything out today, but
I did find those two TVs, but they had cords that were busted.
Cut off of them.
Buy those old TVs. You never would think that, but they do. They still sell, which is crazy. But the cords are ripped off.
It's as they like to say, it's a little bit of nostalgia in a lot of cases. I saw somebody take an old TV and turn it into an aquarium, and I thought it was kind of interesting back in the day. But enough about me. Let's talk about you guys. We're here on today's show. Now, Rob, you've been doing this for a long time, and as you said, you're by Melissa married into it. We got to ask some questions about that later on. But talk a little bit, tell our audience a little bit what you guys are doing and what you're famous for.
Yeah, well, we buy and sell items on eBay, and we'll
buy them in the local market and sell them on eBay.
Yeah, and we tend to lean more towards commercial. So our real niche is finding high profit items, finding items in a local market that people for some reason are large and they can't get rid of them very easily in the local market. We'll buy them and then we'll sell them on a nationwide or even global market sometimes, and then we ship pallets. We'll ship an item on a pallet that opens the doors for us to do a lot larger items and make a lot higher profits on those items.
So we tend to lean towards like exercise equipment, appliances, and it just stuff that people don't want to ship that we'll ship.
Absolutely.
But we'll do anything really, I guess.
Well, and that takes me into, because you've been doing this for a long. How long have you been doing it again, Rob? What, 15 years, something like that, or 16?
I've been doing it for over 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah, as a married couple, we've been doing it for 15 years.
Right.
Yeah.
So what'd you do? This is your full-time gig for everybody out there that's listening to this. What'd you do prior to this? Or how long did it take you to turn this into a full-time thing and leave whatever you're doing 9 to 5 beforehand?
He probably did about 10 different businesses before. He always did this on the side, but he was always like, okay, this is a great idea. Like entrepreneur, shiny object syndrome all the time. Yeah. Great idea. Let's go do this. Great idea. Let's go do this. So, but flipping it was always something that you did. And then you did have a real job as what were you doing? The report company?
Yeah. Worked for insurance, homeowners insurance companies. We did inspection and reports for the insurance companies.
Very nice. Very nice. And they're like, working for yourself it's been obviously the dream from the get-go in a lot of cases. Now, Melissa, what was the weirdest thing that he was doing on the side or trying to do on the side? Anything that stands out to you that must be like, oh my God, it's like Ginsu knives, or reselling like multivitamins, or that crazy wrap thing or anything like that, guys?
I don't know. Like we've done some weird, I guess there was one, probably one earlier on that our friends laughed at us, but it was a prosthetic leg that he found at the flea market for $35. And those titanium knee joints are really expensive. So in like 24 hours, he put it on eBay. I think it was a dealer that bought it for $1,000. And it was like, I'm like, wow, that was impressive. But
Every man's junk is another man's treasure in a lot of cases, right?
yes, for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
So when you started off doing this back 25 years ago, was it always the bigger stuff, or did you just do it like from the Goodwill stores or besides eBay or things like? Can you kind of talk about your transgression and how it kind of evolved for you?
Yeah. And I didn't really put this together until Melissa and I started doing this full time. So we've been full-time flippers for the last 7 years now.
Yeah.
Nice.
I didn't really put this whole journey together until I looked back. But as a kid, I come from a big family. I have 6 older sisters. I'm the youngest and only boy. My parents, to provide for us, would go to yard sales, and they would get secondhand stuff. That's kind of how they took care of a large family. But at the same time, they had a side hustle where they would buy stuff from a yard sale. They'd bring it home and they'd list it in our Orlando. We're in Orlando, so they listed it in the Orlando classified section. And I didn't realize this till more recently, but they were taking it from a small market, which was a yard sale that might have reached a couple hundred people through a weekend, and putting it onto a large market, which is a classified section. And that has the potential of reaching however big the town is, 20, 30, 40,000 people can have the opportunity to see that in a classified section. So that I didn't realize that, like I said, until recently, of taking from a smaller market, bringing it to a larger market and being able to sell it quicker a lot of times and for more money doing that. And yeah, that's kind of how I got into it 25 years ago. My mom kind of helped me. I watched what they were doing. And then when eBay came out, my mom kind of helped me start going to not only yard sales, but some auctions, flea markets and stuff like that. And then I started doing it slowly like that. But I didn't start off with the large items. We started off with smaller items.
Actually, Nordic Tracks you got into pretty quickly.
It was,
a little bit larger.
Yeah,
so.
but it's still in a box. I could put anything I could ship in a box, I would really do. But I didn't get into palleting stuff until probably like 6-7 years ago.
Right. And you've followed your journey a little bit online here the last couple of years and seen how that really has helped you, because there's not many people that will do that in a lot of cases. You're literally out there building pallets. I saw the one, it was like the car wash spindle that you were like doing, or you were shipping, what was it, the lift that you're trying to push up with the brake on up the ramp at one time?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that was a pain in the butt.
We've done some crazy stuff, but it's so much fun. It keeps it interesting. As an entrepreneur, I need variety in what I do, and this is what gives me variety. I have no idea what I'm going to go out and find, and then it's just it's a big gain for me to be able to do this.
Right, totally. So I have to ask this, Melissa, when you guys met and were dating or getting figured it out, and you found out what he was doing, is this like, okay, he's still working, 15 years ago, you said you didn't do this until about 7 years, but how was that? How was that approach? Was it like, or was it like, oh, I love this. I've got the entrepreneur bug as well.
I really had no idea what he did whenever we were dating at first, but he'd actually just sold a house. He did flip houses too back in the day, and he just sold a house. So you had some money, and you're young, you're 20 something years old, spending some money. And, but I didn't know the selling on eBay. I knew what eBay was, but I didn't know you could actually I thought you could just buy stuff. I mean, I knew people sold, but I don't know. I didn't know people made money selling on eBay, and then kind of learned some of the stuff that he looked for. And we went to the flea market and thrift stores sometimes, and you would find stuff. I guess I shouldn't, when we were dating, you had the extra room of stuff that you would sell. It was like a spare bedroom.
Extra room of stuff. That sounds interesting. It's like don't go in there. Don't open the door.
But that was his office with his storage. So and that's one thing that we, talk to people I don't really have room, when you just had a small area where you could.
The second bedroom. That was what it was. A second bedroom
of an apartment. So, or a duplex. So, I didn't really know, but it worked out.
Yeah, totally. It has worked out well for you. I mean, you're able to leave a job. I'm not going to ask you kind of income levels, but this is all you're doing. It's obviously paying off real well for you. What would you say, when you look at your schedule now? You got kids. So I see some smiling kids back there. So you get your kids involved, taking photos and shooting while you're out there doing some stuff. How old are your kids again?
They are 10, 8, and 6 now, but they've been doing this their whole lives too. So
there you go. Many entrepreneurs growing it from the big get-go there for you, which is awesome. Now, when you look at how's your week a little bit different? I mean, most folks are working Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. They're living for the weekend or the day and a half they get. Do you find that you're spending a lot of time the weekend finding your treasures on the weekends, or how's that kind of work for you? Do you have a little bit different schedule?
Our weekends really are family. So and we don't even do it a ton now. We hit the flea market up sometimes on Saturday morning for maybe an hour or two. And that's really the only time, because what we do more of, I have contacts now who I've met at the flea market through the last couple of years, who are sending me stuff throughout the week, and they're texting me pictures. Hey,
Before
do
they
you
even
want
make it to
this?
the flea market.
Exactly. Hey, do you want this? And I can get stuff that way as well. So we really try to work throughout the weekend. On the weekends, it's more a lot more time with the kids that we're able to do stuff.
But you still, Monday morning's your favorite day.
Yeah, I'm so opposite compared to most people, but like Monday morning after our weekend with the kids, that's like my favorite day of the week, is to be able to get up. Melissa and I go for a walk, we do a jog, and I look forward to that pretty much the whole weekend. I look forward to getting up and being able to do that, get the kids off to school.
Not that we don't love spending time with kids.
No, not at all, but it's
Right,
something about
right.
refocusing, being
Yeah.
able to refocus for your week. Monday morning, get a run in, get some exercise, talk, listen to an amazing podcast while we're doing all that. That's really my favorite day of the week, is Monday morning. So I know I'm totally opposite of a lot of people.
You know what? You and I both, man. Monday's always my busiest day. And it's also the time I kind of recenter. Same thing, starting off, going for a walk, a cup of coffee, recharge, getting the batteries rock and roll, but also being very focused for your week ahead of you too. It helps you set the stage, and a good thing. And the fact that you guys work together is also unique in a lot of cases too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, some of our friends aren't. They're like, "How do you spend so much time together?" But I mean, I think it was a little bit of a learning curve at first to like learn each other and how we both work. But because
we're
we enjoy
together
it.
almost 24/7. I mean, that's the thing. And most people, husbands and wives, they go to work 8 hours, and they go their separate ways. They come back and eat dinner, take care of the kids for a couple hours, go to bed, and you got a couple hours with your spouse. And Melissa and I we do everything from when they wake up, I take the kids to school, come home, and then we're running, exercising, working pretty much all day together. We eat lunch together. We do all this stuff. So she knows how to push my buttons. I know how to push her buttons a lot more than a lot of couples do, because we're so close all the time. So we have to know that. And it's taken us a while to get into a groove of being able to work with each other.
Well, but I think it probably came in handy, especially look at what's happened the last couple of years. My spouse and I, we spend same thing, 24/7 for the most part, work from home together, travel, do a lot of stuff together. We don't have little ones. We have the 4-legged furry kind as kids that keep us busy there. But it's, especially with COVID, so many families out there struggled when they were forced to be together 24/7, and it didn't go very well. And those that were used to it, I think, really thrived in a lot of cases, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'd agree.
We didn't really feel like there was a lot. I mean, we still worked at home. We had the kids home, which was an extra stress because we had to do school at home, and that was but we still like got outside, went for walks, went for runs, and it was kind of the norm, I guess, for us. Went for bike rides and whatnot. For sure. So
right now, with so many side hustles, or especially like Gary Vaynerchuk getting on and sharing his journey for his flea market flipping, or his, what he's been doing as well too there. Are you seeing an increase also with people reaching out to you, or your engagement on the social media platforms too for you, followers and stuff?
We get some traffic from Gary every once in a while, like
trash talk.
And definitely like him talking about it. He does a lot of smaller stuff, so we have a little different niche, but I mean, I think it's great to show people what is possible out there. Like, there is money literally everywhere on the side of the road. So.
We haven't found a lot of people that do what we do. I can't say of anybody who's they do larger high profit items. We haven't found a lot of people to do that. But as for your question, social media, I mean, Melissa puts a post sometimes on one of these larger flips that we do. I mean, social media goes crazy with them. I mean, she's got reels and TikToks to go millions of views because people are so interested and they get excited. So it's really, really cool. It's cool to watch other people, like that stuff and see it.
Right. So if you guys just had a recent summit here, an online summit with a bunch of different speakers over a couple of days, a big endeavor. I was following along. I was teaching that same weekend. I was like, okay, I can't join in, but I can definitely catch up later on here for you. What if somebody's sitting there in a sidelight right now, and I'm speaking because we deal with a lot of borrowers out there who are struggling to make ends meet. I think we see a lot of people with inflation and increased gas prices, and you guys living in Orlando, there's a lot of folks that just aren't getting by because they're working for the parks or not making money, to survive on. You know what I mean? What are some suggestions you have for folks that are looking to dive into what you're doing and start doing this stuff? Any top 3 tips or places they get looking for, unearthed treasures that most people miss out on?
Yeah. I mean, the first thing I'll start off with is change your mind shift. I mean, a lot of people come to us, and even our people, they're like, man, inflation, gas prices, everything. And it's like, okay, well, we have the potential to either pick up a side hustle if you don't have one. You got the potential to make as much money as you possibly want to make. If you're working full time, man, get out there and start that side hustle. Start doing something that you love, something that you can do to make that extra money to make ends meet if you have to. I mean, that's like us. When I see prices going up, I don't like it. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to waste my time complaining. Let's go make some more money. What can I find to make some more money to make the ends meet on this and make it so it's not affecting us that much. That's the first tip that I would say is definitely shift your mind a little bit and realize that you do have the potential. Everybody's got the potential to go out and do, start a side hustle or, really dive into a side hustle, do what you want to do because you can absolutely do it.
And a lot of people have stuff at their house too. Like that's the first place we tell people to look for quick money is stuff that you haven't used in a long time. And it's a great way to get started on the apps if you've never sold on eBay before, like with your own stuff that you can make mistakes. It's not, you're not losing hundreds of dollars or whatnot, 20, 30 bucks and you make a $2 shipping mistake or whatever, you learn through that stuff instead of going to buy inventory right away. So that is a great way to get started.
And the stuff people throw away.
Yes.
I mean, a week and a half ago, we're walking home from our walk and I see a beautiful oak table, solid wood oak table on the side of the road with 4 chairs. They pulled the top off and leaned it up against the pedestal. I was like, Melissa, we got to go back and grab that. We went back and grabbed it. I didn't do a thing to it, put it up, took some good pictures of it. We sold it in 24 hours for $200. That's something we didn't have to pay a thing for. I went and picked it up, threw it on Marketplace, sold it in 24 hours for $200. And that stuff is, I mean, we don't specifically look for that stuff, but when we do see it on our normal routine of walking, I'll go grab something and pick it up and do it. So there's so many ways you can, if you want to start flipping, there's ways you can do it for very, very low, if not any cost of entry to do it.
Yeah, I've got a buddy that he focuses on cleanouts for houses, and his big thing is he likes, the hoarder houses. They may stink and smell like shit and food and stuff, but he says he finds a lot of collectibles under that layer of trash out there that he's got a storage unit that he just pulls the stuff off, cleans it up, washes it off, or does what he needs to. But there's those specific things out there you're walking by is not to let. I think so many people are so focused on watching their phone, they don't see what's going on around them in a lot of cases, right?
Absolutely.
I did want to add too to that, like when people are nervous about all the stuff that's going on with, inflation and whatnot, and money worries, there is some sense of security to know that he can go and just make more money with stuff that like our inventory. So, I mean, part of our inventory is not listed yet. So there's some money there, but you can always, like, stuff that is listed, you could go make offers. You can go, like, it's just a nice thing to know that if we got into a really hard spot, we could work a little bit harder and get out of it. So, there is a sense of security to know that.
Sure. Let me ask you about that a little bit there. So you talk about inventory. Is this something you don't want to flood the marketplace or things with so many listings? Or do you have a lot of inventory, like one product or multiple products that you pull from different places? Or can you define that a little bit?
Definitely. So right now we probably have a couple $100,000. I think I have 100,000, listed on eBay, roughly. But I have at least another $200,000 to $300,000 worth of stuff. And we're not talking about thousands and thousands of items. You got to remember our ticket, like last year, our average ticket was $1,400 per sale is what we did. And that wasn't a ton of sales. What did we do? 50 or 60?
58.
Yeah, somewhere 50, 60 sales is all we did last year. But
the
averaging
bus wash did help with that average. But
yeah,
still,
absolutely. Yeah. One big one. But averaging out, $1,400. So I have other types of inventory. What I'm really good at is finding amazing deals, whether that deal might need a small thing. I might have to get something fixed on it, or for whatever reason it is, it might need something small. And then I put it in the back of the shop. I'll put it in the shop and forget about it because I'm on to find another great deal. And that's my curse.
That's the rush. So that's what we're trying to work on now, is getting somebody to help him with like fixing stuff and listing. So that's kind of where we're looking to hire somebody, hopefully eventually.
So we don't have a lot of any single type of product. I look for really good deals, and we don't even specialize in one specific thing. It's whatever I can find a great deal on. That's what I'm looking for, and that's what we kind of get. And then I get behind on listing, which, like I said, we have a couple 100,000 listed on eBay, but then we also have a couple 100,000 that's not listed on eBay that's got the potential of making us money as soon as I get it onto eBay for whatever reason it is, taking pictures, fixing it, doing whatever I have to do to it.
That makes sense. Now, is there any tools that you use when you're out looking around? I mean, walking by an oak wood table, we can know, hey, that's worth a couple $100. But are there any things any tools that you're using? Are you just jumping on eBay and see what some stuff is selling for? Similar to that, it's kind of your resource or research process.
Absolutely. When I started this, we didn't have we didn't have smartphones. We didn't have internet at our fingertips. We had to buy something, hope it was a good deal, get it back to the house, then jump on the internet and see what it was listed for, what it sold for. But right now, absolutely. Before I do anything, there's not a lot of risk in this business. Before I buy anything, before I grab anything, I'm looking on my phone. I'm looking on eBay, looking at what is listed currently, and then looking at the comps, because eBay gives us the last 90 days of stuff that have sold. You can go through and get a good idea. Hey, if this is a $5 item and it's on eBay, it's sold for $200. Hey, that's a great deal. Let's go ahead and snag this. And I already know it's selling because I have the comps that it's sold. So yeah, definitely that your phone is a huge tool and resource that if you're not utilizing in this business, yeah, you definitely have to be.
And just because it didn't sell on eBay doesn't mean it's still not like something that could sell, because we sell some kind of different stuff that might not be something that sold the last 90 days. So then our next rule of thumb is about 50% of retail. So we Google it and say, what's about 50% of retail? That's around what we know we can get. So then we know how much we can pay for it.
Yeah, that's a great point. Even if you can't find it on eBay, go to Google and find out what it retails for. And then there's your starting point, because sometimes that's even
are different, but
sometimes that's even better, because if you find the item and it's not on eBay, you throw it on eBay, you might sell it super quick because somebody's looking for it and nobody else has it. So that's really, really cool.
I love that. But knowing that if you get 50% of retail, it's a deal for somebody who's willing to jump on that because they need it. There's always a buyer for a specific thing if it's a good condition, or even needs a little bit of manual labor or elbow grease to get it back and rock and rolling, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, is there anything you bought that was just a dud? There anything you're like, no, we're not buying trading cards. We're not buying freaking Beanie Babies. I know those are smaller items and a little outside what you're doing now, but is there anything you like avoid?
We really just look for higher profit. So, and you
I say no more often. I'm like, no, we don't need to buy that. No, we don't need to.
And she doesn't like me to invest a lot either. Some of our largest flips and highest profit flips, she's told me no. I think she probably told me no on that bus wash that we ended up buying, that I paid $500 for it, and we sold it for $14,500. So it's crazy.
But some of the Beanie Babies are not usually a good buy. No. And baseball cards, not so much either, right? But the Pokemon cards can be really good. They're huge right now. And if you have some from back when we were 90s. Kids, like me.
Yeah, it's insane.
So they're.
Yeah, I just saw that the linebacker for, I don't know who, he used to play for the New York Giants, Blake Martinez, sold a Pokemon card for over $700,000 just the other day. And he just up and retired. He's like, I'm not need to get hit anymore. I'm good. 700 grand. I'm good. Now, question I have to ask you about this now, how's this affecting with the quick flips with your taxes? Do you have to keep really accurate records, or you're able to write off some stuff, or how's that work for you? Because I would think some of the stuff would be like short-term capital gains in a lot of cases, because it's short investment and you hit a little higher tax bracket. How's that working for you?
Thank the Lord they don't do that for flippers. We're in a tax bracket for what we do, but we don't pay capital gains on that stuff. As for taxes, we can write off, like we do for the last 3 years. We do a summer road trip that we actually go out. We're able to travel around the country. We take a trailer with us, so we're buying stuff as we're traveling. We
can write off
a lot of the gas, a lot of the stuff that we're doing, we're able to write off because we're buying stuff on the road. Last
year we got how many? We bought 17 items for $1,400, and they're worth
$32,000. That's how much inventory we brought back in our trailer. So
you already sold some. We have to total up what you've already sold. So
one of them we just sold last week, paid $400 for a Turbo Chef oven and sold it for $10,000. That huge flip on that commercial oven that we sold.
Now, with your road trip, is it all throughout Florida or all across the country, or it varies?
All through the country. Yeah, we try to travel.
Last year we made it to California from Florida.
2 years ago, California. Last year wasn't.
This year.
Yeah. Sorry.
Last summer we did. This summer we didn't quite make it that far. We had to go to a conference along the way and did a couple other things. But we try to make a pretty big loop across the country.
Yeah, it's fun.
Now, do you find better values in the bigger towns because there's more people, or do you find some great stuff kind of like in the smaller towns, kind of the backwoods, and you see that stuff, kind of like somebody asked me about the American pickers, they're crawling into garages and looking at all the stuff there for you, having that experience?
Yeah, believe it or not,
Both,
yeah,
really.
I don't think there's a rhyme or a reason. Typically in smaller towns, they don't have as much exposure, kind of like we talked about in the beginning. So you probably can find better deals in the smaller towns, but it's flip 22 because like
There's
we
more
also,
people, so.
yeah, we're also looking on apps when we're in a town for a night or 2 nights, whatever it is. If it's not posted on an app, typically we're not making it to a yard sale. We'll
Right.
try and hit a thrift store sometimes, and it might be in a thrift store, but at the same time, yeah, if it's not getting a lot of exposure locally and you have to go to a yard sale to find it, we're not really seeing those, but we're finding them in the app. So
Usually the night before we go somewhere, like, okay, what city are we in next? He'll ask me. And so he's on his phone, like, okay, what can I try to schedule a meetup? And hopefully they answer in the next 12 hours so we can meet up with them. So
Very nice. That's good stuff. There any things that you just see that just sell like hotcakes, like board games, or I mean, it's collectibles obviously, but anything that you're just like, I know when I see this, we are jumping on it. Any specific item? I know maybe a little bit in the past because it's smaller items, but
yeah.
Yeah.
anything that sticks.
Smaller items. I mean, we definitely gravitate towards appliances because they sell quick, but what about small? I don't know.
I don't know any small items because it's
Like
just not
band
yeah.
equipment or anything like that, or anything.
They can be good.
Yeah.
And one of our friends does really well with shoes too. He does like men's shoes and
That's a
dress
great
shoes.
entry. Is if you find retail on shoes and they're high retail, you know you can make some good money on eBay with shoes. So
You can find them in a thrift store all day.
and they're small. Like our friends have bought them for like $2 and $3 and sold them for as much as $500 and $600 per pair
Wow.
of
I
shoes.
mean, that was not.
It's not all the time.
Not all the time. Usually
Right.
it's like $100 to $200.
Potential on boots and men's. He really does men's dress shoes is what he does a lot of. And he quite often sells $200 and $300 pairs of shoes. It's not that uncommon for him to get a couple $100 for a pair of shoes that he paid less than $5 for.
You probably buy them in bulk. I had an uncle that would go into these stores and just buy the whole thing for like 5 cents an item, with knowing that he would probably lose money on about half of it, but the other half he would quadruple his money in a lot of cases like that for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Is there with besides the marketplace and the different sales and stuff like that, if somebody's in a bigger town, is there places that they should go to, like the high end, like a Goodwill in a high end part of town to find some stuff, or Salvation Army, or even like Habitat for Humanity, where it's a lot of the restore stuff? I like going there for light fixtures and other things in a lot of cases, my rehabs. But any suggestions?
Yeah, absolutely.
They're all great. Really. We like them
especially
all.
in higher end portions, higher end towns. Yeah, you have really, really good potential for donations at those places. So yeah, Habitat is where we bought tons and tons of appliances and we resell them and make a ton of money on appliances. Yeah, they're a really good store because they take a lot of like Goodwill and Salvation Army don't typically do the appliances, but Habitat will. And yeah, we can definitely make some good money on appliances from them.
And does Salvation Army still do a auction?
Not all of them do
Okay.
that. That's when I grew up. I mean, that was one of the first places I was buying stuff. Is our local Salvation in Orlando had a huge warehouse behind it. Everything they couldn't get inside the store, or they didn't have room, they do 5 days a week. They do an auction out back, and they had appliances, exercise equipment, everything you can think of. It was mostly large items. They did that out back, and I don't think all Salvation Armies do that. But in bigger towns to get rid of stuff quicker, that's I know they did. I knew they did it in Tampa, and they did it here, but I don't know of a lot of other ones that did that.
Now, I just became aware that a lot of like Amazon has their return bins or stuff like that. Oh, she lit up there. She lit that up. Can you talk a little about where folks can find those things, or if they're buying what, it's like a lot of whatever's in the boxes, right?
Yeah, we actually just recently interviewed
That's not our specialty.
It's not, but the Nashville Pickers, we interviewed them, and that's one of the places they source is the Amazon bins. And I was like, I knew Goodwill had bins, but I didn't know Amazon had these bins. And so yeah, you can get in. I don't know that they open at a certain time and you have to be there pretty early to get like first dibs on stuff, and everybody runs in and it's like this big old thing, but you can find some good stuff there. So.
But they say they cap it. So it's like everything's like $5 and they have all these bins in there. No matter what you pull out, it's $5 or whatever the price is for that day. I think they say they stock it one day, and the further and further down the week it goes, they drop the prices and then they start it back over the next week when they stock it. They start it back at that $5 or $7, whatever it is.
I think you can just Google and see if you have one near you. Did we have one? Is it in Tampa?
No, it's here. It's over at West Oaks Mall.
We need to go.
So we personally have not, like I said, that's not our specialty, but it intrigues me because I know what I buy on Amazon and I send stuff back to Amazon. So you got to know, multiply that by millions of people. Right. They've got to have some cool stuff that you can buy from the bins.
But also we have bought stuff from, for like returns from some of your flea market vendors. There was
absolutely.
one year at Christmas. Remember when those, what are those lights? That light up that like you
Star
just saw
showers.
the star shower lights, the laser lights. So you just put in one thing and then you got lights on your house. Well, the first year they came out, like everybody wanted one because they don't have to put lights on their house. And one of your vendors got a whole bunch of return pallets from no, where were they from?
I don't
I can't remember, but she got a whole bunch of them. You bought 10 and then you came back and bought 100 of them. And so we bought
made a couple $1,000s
yeah,
at like a
we made-
weekend
yeah,
on these
in like 3 days.
$30 and $40
yeah.
lights. It was crazy.
It was a good Christmas
Wow.
bonus because and we had to test them all because if they're returns, you have to make sure like people just return it for no reason, but then there's also some reasons why they do. So we had to test them all, and we only had, a small percentage that were duds. But we just made sure they all worked and sold them, and we definitely made a couple grand on that one.
For sure.
That was fun.
So I have to ask you, when you go into a normal store, do you buy retail? You have a hard time buying retail these days.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we can't really buy retail.
Absolutely.
Though-
We don't buy brand new cars. We buy used cars. All of our appliances in our house come from a Habitat
our
or
stove was in the trash we just replaced it recently. We had that thing for like 10
we
years.
did a stove out of the trash that was worth $2,500 that somebody got rid of because they redid a kitchen and threw it out on the side of the road. We went and grabbed it. Awesome stove. But yeah, almost everything we have, it's very hard for us to actually go spend full price on anything that we buy.
That's something we talk about our kids with too, because they always want to go. We go to Target or we go into whatever store and they want to buy something all the time. And he's always like,
your money's going to go so much further at the flea market than it is right here. You're going to get one item, or you can go pick 5 items for the same amount of money that you got at the flea market.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. I mean, I think when you put ourselves back in when we were kids, that's always like, oh, it's hard because especially marketing is targeted towards kids. It makes it difficult for parents. It's the whole thing of brainwashing kids with TV and other things like that, versus you've done a great job of teaching your kids the value of a dollar, which is so important these days. But I think as an investor, I always think, man, if I could have got started when I was like 20 versus 30, you know what I mean? A 10-year difference. Now you got them starting when they're in their single digits. It'll be amazing to see what happens with them over the next 20, 30, 40 years as well, too, for you, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. I still say I'm going to have our kids making 6 figures. Each one of our kids will have a 6-figure business before they graduate high school. I know we'll be able to build that before they graduate high school. So it's really cool.
Our son, when he was 5, one day, because we're trying harder to get them do chores. And so like we're experimenting with chore charts and like, what do we pay them? Do we pay it? Whatever. But so I told them all to go clean their rooms, and he was 5 and he looked at me and he said,
he's a thinker.
I can make more money by selling stuff on eBay, so I don't need to clean my room anymore. And I was like, no, you still need to clean your room, but that was a good one. So I didn't really know how to respond.
Nice try, son, but no.
But he thinks like that though. And then he would have totally like paid his sisters the $1 or whatever it was and go make more money on eBay. So like, that's how he thinks. I'm like, well, that's a good thinking.
Good.
Yeah, that's how they say. You can give him a buck while he goes $1 for the hour. You clean while I go flip something on eBay. That's funny. That's hilarious, but that's so true. But that's so few kids are being taught financial responsibility and numbers and budgeting and deal making versus, hey, got to go buy the brand new Nintendo or the brand new Sega game system that it's going to be half price in about 6 months when the new one comes out in a lot of cases, right?
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Now, was there, with the summit you did, you had so many speakers over, you said 3 days there. What's an aha nugget or two that you took away from there that you were surprised about from some of your different speakers?
Man, there was a lot.
One that I'll put out for me is one, and this is even a local speaker. One of my best friend, actually, his wife started flipping plants. She's making crazy money flipping plants, and they're local. It's like I said, it's my best friend. I've known him for years now. And when he told me she's been doing this for 2 years, I went to her and I said, you got to come and teach people what you're doing. And she's buying plants from Walmart, turning around, and it's like a money tree. She's cutting leaves off of these plants, selling the leaves to people for money, and then still letting them grow. It's like, so that was my biggest aha moment was, man, there is really ways to make money out there. And we didn't, like, people know we're larger items, but we had people that did Goodwill bins, did the Amazon bins, did all different types of flipping. We had them in there doing presentations. So it was so much money. But the plant one to me was like, that's amazing.
So
that's awesome. That is so awesome.
Is she, are you talking about weed? Come on, man. Because she's got the leaves off the weeds there in Orlando.
No, these are legit house plants. We're not talking about weed, but that would be funny. We had somebody teaching how to flip weed. Oh man,
That'd be funny.
that would be.
That's hilarious. Melissa, what was a nugget that popped up for you from your event?
I really liked one of the things that is one of our speakers, Dalton Lanning. He spoke on finding your niche and like really sticking to it, because you can streamline your income so much easier. Like he does shoes too. And so he's like, once I stopped trying to find everything, and like I have my picture set up for shoes, I have everything, like everything is set up to streamline shoes, and I can make a lot more money because I know what I'm looking for and everything's just a lot quicker. And I thought that was really cool.
It did make sense.
It's not something you could probably do because you don't like the monotony, but it really does. It makes a lot of sense. Like if you can
same size boxes,
same size
picture spot.
Yeah,
everything is right there, so you're set up like a what's it called?
Assembly line.
Yeah,
exactly.
Assembly
Thank
line.
you.
Yeah.
So you have everything is just, you know how it's going to go, you know about how much shipping is, like everything is just similar. So it just streamlines the whole process a little better. So and I would add too, like we do tell people to start with a niche that you know or enjoy or want to learn more about, because then you're going to just be more interested. Like we know people that flip golf clubs, they love golf. And so they know what to look for. They know the top brands. And if they spot them, they can go and get them pretty easy. So like
Absolutely.
We would have to spend time looking that up and figuring it out if it's something that we wanted to do. So.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. The riches are in the niches, as they always say. That's why my podcast is focused on distressed debt for the most part, when we like to bring in occasional stuff. And like you guys, I was like, oh, this is definitely going to be something. And we, I've been following for a while. We met actually at FinCon there in Orlando there for you. Is there anything that you took away from FinCon that's been valuable to you that you've applied to your business or marketing or anything like that to help you spread the word on what you're doing?
Man, that seems like so long ago, and it was only a couple months ago.
I'll give you my biggest takeaway that I still haven't implemented is YouTube videos for our coaching business. So yeah, our
big YouTube track.
Our business is two parts. We have the part where we actually go out and flip. I'll do that the rest of my life. I love finding deals and I love doing that. But we also teach people. So we're coaches as well. And on the coaching aspect of what we do, I forgot who we spoke to. Tim Schmoyer. Yeah. His presentation was amazing. And it really spoke to me on really dialing in, getting a YouTube strategy together and really starting to do that. So FinCon, yeah, that was my takeaway. And I still haven't done it, but like I said, those podcasts we listen to every single morning, we're really honing in on, I don't know if you know Alex Hormozy.
Yeah.
I love this guy. We're really eating up his podcast. And every single morning I'm like, okay, I got to start this. So that's going to, in my next week, I will have some videos up on the YouTube portion of our business to be able to move forward with that. But that was, one of my big takeaways from FinCon.
I would agree. We did a lot of the YouTube presentations and they were all so good. And anyways.
Well, I love that because that was a very big thing for me. I've done long form content with this podcast and other webinars, but adding short form YouTube videos. And I was never on TikTok and not doing a lot of short videos. So I pledged myself to do at least 30 days of a short video on a nugget or an asset and sharing that not only on Instagram, but on TikTok, but also on YouTube Shorts. And I've seen a big increase to it. And I would think, especially with your videos that you're doing on Instagram, stuff like that, it would be very easy for you just to re-upload to help maybe prime that pump a little bit, but you just need somebody to do it, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. More time.
Yeah. I enjoy doing the shorts. Actually, I edit all of our shorts and I think we just do a lot of, B-roll video of him finding stuff or whatever we're doing. And it's just kind of fun. I enjoy it, but I got to get somebody helping me more on the back end of all the tech stuff so that I can do the fun stuff and the creative stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if you need a VA to help you out to do that, let me know. I can shoot you a couple that do a really great job for us as well too.
Awesome.
Going in there as well for you. Now with it being Thanksgiving and Christmas, do you see an increase in potential deals over the time frame? Like we've been doing this for so long. Are there peak seasons and slow seasons and what you find?
I don't know if we get sales at the end of the year. Usually our eBay sales definitely spike at the end of the year. Most people,
their sales spike in Q4.
Yeah.
So we sell a little bit different kinds of stuff, like stuff for people's kitchens. So that's kind of any time of year. But we do try to sell certain stuff too at that time. Like if we just went through all the kids' rooms and be like, okay, we can list this. Let's get this listed and sold because it's Christmas. People are looking for stuff. So, so we will sell more knowing that it's Christmas
Yeah.
coming up. So
our biggest thing is if we want sales on eBay, it boils down to consistency. And the more I list items, since I mean, I only have like 80 items listed on eBay, and that's normal for me to have that low. 80 to 100 items is typically where I hover. But for me to see sales, if I go in and start listing and list one item every single day for the next 30 days, my income will jump up $20,000 at least. I can make $20,000 just by doing that, being consistent with that, listing those items. In eBay's algorithms love that. They start showing my items to more people, and we always see more sales. In our group, we do a 30-day listing challenge probably a couple times a year.
Yeah.
And every time anybody really commits to being consistent with their listings, that's when they start to see sales. And it's just a consistency thing, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's so great that you do that, because I'm a big believer. You got to be consistent. Takes 66 days to build a habit, 21 days to get started. You know what I mean? But doing those 30-day pushes and stuff like that, I think so many folks get frustrated because they do it once and they don't have success with it and they give up. Oh, this doesn't work. You didn't give it long enough for the algorithms and other things that kick in to help you work out with it, right?
Yeah, we actually we started our brand Flea Market Flipper in 2015, and we did it for about 6 months, and then there was no traffic to our blog, nobody was there, and we're like, well, this is dumb, we're quitting. So we quit for like another 6 months, and then we're like, well, both of us got this thing to start it back up. I don't know, we were just thinking about it, like maybe we should start it back up and see. And now I look back, I'm like, why would anybody even read that anyway? Like it was so bad, or why would anybody watch those videos? So but it is like you grow a lot by being consistent, and you learn a lot. So
well, that's the thing. You get all the crap or the mistakes out of the way early on.
Right.
And people, I'm imagining if people that have followed you for a long time that were like maybe laughing at the first few videos, or comment how much you got polished over the last couple of years in a lot of cases using new tools, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we watched a couple videos the other day. I was going through some
They're
of my
painful. They're very painful.
and we're like, hello, what do you like? It's Rob from Flea Market Flipper. It's pretty
just
funny.
Mellow tone. It's like, who would ever want to watch a video like this? This is crazy.
Now, you mentioned early on that you go to the flea markets every once in a while, but you've got people that send you leads. How long did it take you to develop those leads? And was it just like, hey, if you got something big or something you can't move, give me a phone call? Or how long did it take to develop those relationships, Rob?
We've only been making those contacts since we've been full time. So for the last 6 or 7 years. And it didn't take me, it didn't take me super long to do it. And it was more of people that I would see at the flea market who consistently had new stuff. My vendors at the flea market, a lot of them will go to storage auctions throughout the week, and then they'll bring all the stuff to the flea market. They'll dump it at the flea market, and you get great deals on that stuff. I pick and choose what I want, so I don't have to buy a whole storage unit. I buy the one thing that I want. I pay a little bit more money. They make money. I make a lot of money when I sell it on eBay for that individual item. So I started connecting with those people, and
because you would go every single Saturday for like probably the first 2 years that we went full time. You went
Saturday and Sunday,
every single weekend. So you were very consistent. So you get to know the same people over.
And they would start to know me, and then I started getting their phone numbers, and they'd send me text and that kind of stuff. So, but
my storage unit, come see if you want anything. So
and one of my best contacts is a scrapper. All he does is pick up trash. He's got contacts with crazy people now, like hospitals, local hospitals, and restaurants, and all these places where they just tell him, come pick this item up. And a lot of times they just cycle them out. There's nothing wrong with them. Well, he'll send me pictures of those items, and I've made hundreds of, hopefully he doesn't listen to this, hundreds of thousands of dollars on the items that he has sold me.
But he did find our Instagram recently. He's like, what are you doing?
He called me late one night. I think it was TikTok. He called me late one night, and I was like, why is he calling me this late? I called him back the next day, and he's like, you don't ever try and talk me down on a thing. I see how much money you're making. And I was laughing. He was joking partially, but he wants it
for free though.
He wants his money quick too. But it was funny when he found us on TikTok.
That is awesome. Such good stuff. Now let's talk. You had your summit. Now it's an evergreen virtual summit now for folks out there that are looking, which is smart. It's very smart for you to do that. Talk about that and how folks can get signed up and kind of what's all included with that, and if there's any ongoing coaching or stuff like that too. Share your chance to pitch your class here for you.
Yeah, the summit's just at theresellersummit.com, and you can get access to all the replays. You can check that out, and we have a whole bunch of resources on our website too. So fleamarketflipper.com is kind of the hub for everything right there. And you can dive in.
We're doing challenges. We do summits. I mean, right now we're in the middle of the Flip It for Christmas challenge.
Yeah.
That
So
we're
we're
doing,
constantly doing new things. So if
trying to help people.
Yeah, jump on there, and we're always trying to help you make more money. So.
Well, that's a great way. You just, listening to you and seeing you guys have a big heart and to give back to the community like that to help folks out there. It's not creating competition because they're all across the country and really across the world. Do you see any international folks following you or doing some of this stuff internationally?
We have some members from Canada and from Australia and from England. So we're a little bit in all those countries, which is pretty fun to see. And I will add too, like you said about competition, which is really cool because our group that we have, everybody helps everybody out, and it's so cool to see, because you could be like, no, I got this, like I don't want to give you any information, but there's so much stuff. There's never going to be, people ask us all the time, well, aren't you creating competition to, like, you're going to put out a business? But people get rid of stuff all the time. Like there's so much trash, so much thrown away, and so more people that can make money off it, better for the planet, better for everybody. So
it really is.
Because you would not be able to go and find all the stuff in our.
I turn stuff down all the time from my vendors, from the flea market. I mean, for me to really get something now, like we were at the flea market last weekend and I picked up a pizza dough press. They put, anyways, I picked it up and it was $150 and I'll be able to sell it for $2,000. So for me to pick and choose items like that I'll do, I didn't really even need it. I just didn't want to let it go. So I grabbed it. But that's one of those things that, there's so much stuff that I even turned down, even from my scrapper friend. I mean, he had trailers full of stuff the other day and I was like, I just can't do it. And he took it to the scrapyard. And that's one of those things that there's so much stuff people can make money. You're not creating competition. There's so much stuff out there that you can really make money on in this business.
That's so true. I mean, it's just an open mind, as like you said at the beginning, change your mindset and realize that there's opportunity in so many places that people just give up, or they remodel their houses, or they get rid of the stuff because they get something new. Doesn't mean that used product is bad. It just needs a new home in a lot of cases, right?
Absolutely.
For sure.
So once again, guys, their website is the fleamarketflipper.com. Is that the best place for folks to connect with you guys?
Yes, that is the best place. And they can, there's a whole bunch of resources on there.
Good stuff. And also check out their Instagram handle, guys. It's Flea Market Flipper, but market is MRK. So Flea MRKT Flipper there for you. But such great stuff, guys. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing. This has been a fun episode. Look forward to your continued flipping adventures out there. And next time in Orlando, we got to grab dinner or something like that too.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Great. All right, guys, go out, take some action, dive into, guys. They've got such great stuff. The energy. I always love buying deals. We love deals and discounts if you're an entrepreneur, especially in the note space or things like that. But we're always that entrepreneurial bug. This is a great way for you to have a little side hustle, or get your spouse or kids involved in doing some stuff as well too for you. So go out, take some action, buddy, and we'll see you all top, everybody. Bye.